I want to share with you what I believe today is the most important skill to learn, one that is the greatest indicator of success in my therapy practice, and of course, just in life generally. I believe if you get this, your life, your mental health, your spirituality, your relationships will dramatically improve, God willing, for the better. Shalom, my name is Rabbi Noach, and welcome to my Torah Thoughts channel, where I, as a rabbi and psychotherapist, delve into the areas of Judaism, mental health, and personal growth. So let's dive into the Jewish way of sticking to your commitments. I want to start with a little bit of a thought experiment that I speak to and work on with every single one of my clients at the beginning. I say to them, imagine you have a good friend that you want to see, and you make a plan with them. You're going to meet at 12 o'clock at some restaurant the next day. And of course, in today's world, we go back and forth and we text like right before, hey, are we still meeting? As if you just made a plan yesterday. Why do you need to do that? But you get there at 12 o'clock and they're nowhere to be found. You wait a little bit, then you send a few texts. Hey, where are you? Everything good? They don't show up. You leave the restaurant at 12:30 and you get a text later. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had a meeting. I couldn't even text you. It was like, you got to get to this meeting. We have work to do. And I couldn't even text you. And I'm so sorry I missed. I'm going to buy you lunch tomorrow. We'll meet at the same time, same place. And you say, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. No problem. It happens. Imagine tomorrow the same exact thing happens, but this time they say, oh my gosh, it completely slipped my mind. I don't know what happened. I just completely forgot. This never happens to me. I'm so sorry. What a weird coincidence. It's been 2 times. Tomorrow, 3rd time's a charm. I'll be there. I'm gonna buy you the meal. I'm even gonna buy you like a dessert after. We'll get some dessert. And imagine the same thing happens the next day. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe this happened. So most people, I think, when I do this thought experiment, after 1 or 2 times, they're going to be still okay to make the 3rd plan. It's okay. It happens. I'll give them the 3rd chance. After the 3rd time, most people will say, you know what? I love you. You're my friend, but you can't make this kind of commitment to me. I don't trust that you're going to be there. So we're going to be done with that. But unfortunately, we do this to ourselves and to others all the time. We say to ourselves, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do that thing. We don't do it. And then we say, oh my gosh, I didn't do it. And then we pretend that the next 400 times that we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And we don't have that luxury that we do with others to say, hey, I love you, but I don't really trust you. I don't think you're going to show up. Stop making that commitment. Instead, what we do is continue to weaken our word, weaken our word and our commitment. So that by the time we keep saying it again, we don't even believe ourselves. It's a bit of a joke. It's like showing up at the restaurant 400 times, every time being like, see you there, and no one shows up. It doesn't work. And we've done this to our own words. Our words are no longer powerful. And I think this is the reason why we don't stick to our commitments, because we've forgotten that we have a superpower. Let's talk about this superpower briefly today. In the book of Dvarim, in the book of Deuteronomy, it says, Motza svatecha, what comes out of your mouth, tishmor va'asisa. What comes out of your mouth, guard it and do it. Take your words very seriously. We guard things that we value and we protect them. And this is what we need to start looking at ourselves and our words as being very, very powerful. Of course, I'm not talking about not having nuance with language. Sometimes language is not just about saying we're going to do something and saying we're not going to do something. It's about connection and it's about relationships. I'm not getting into this rigid way of looking at words, but there's this sense of guard. We have to guard something because it matters and it's important and it's significant and it's worth protecting. So when we talk about this stuff, I'm taking away the sort of halachic differences between a shavua, an oath, and a neder, a vow, and what constitutes a vow, what doesn't, what constitutes a promise, what doesn't. That's not the point. We're going to talk about sort of a general framework about the power of words to bind you to commit to things. We're going to learn a few different sources. This is from Kohelet, Shlomo Melech. He says, Eis asher tidor shalem. What you promise, what you vow. Again, we're not getting into technical stuff about vows. And generally speaking, in Judaism, we say don't make vows. It's more of a technical halachic thing. But Eis asher tidor shalem. What you say you're going to do, pay up. So let's say you go to a store and you want to buy something. You can't just walk in the store and say, hey, I want that thing. Come give it to me. Or online, hey, I want that thing. I'm not going to put a credit card in. I'm not going to pay for it, but send it over to me. People don't take that seriously. A transaction is, this is what I want, and this is what I'm paying to get what I want. If you say, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., don't just say that and then not pay for it, because then you're just, what we say, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap when it's not led with action. But if you say, I'm going to go and do that thing, and then you buy it by going to do it, then it's a real transaction. And you start to believe yourself. You're a real person. It's like, I'm going to buy this thing. This is important, and I'm going to pay for it. And this is how we have to start looking at our words. It's a transaction. Otherwise, over time, it's just going to be like, You walk into stores and you just say you want things and then you don't buy it and you don't get it. It's not a real transaction. Nobody takes you seriously. Start to look at it like it's a transaction. The other thing is if you can't afford something, you can't get it. Of course, we're not getting into like debt and how that would work. But the bottom line is the second component of this transaction is if you don't have the money, don't do it. Only commit to things that you have the money to do. Otherwise, that's another way that your words get cheapened because you can't grow a foot tomorrow. No matter what I say, I cannot become a basketball player in the NBA tomorrow. But there's a lot of things that I can do that I have the quote unquote money for. Even things that I don't even believe that I could do because I've for so many years said I couldn't do it, but it's still technically possible. Only make transactions, only make commitments to do things and to not do other things that are going to benefit your life if you are in the capability to do it. Sometimes we want to take on things in a smaller amount. So for me, for example, aside from swimming and hockey and staying active in general, walking, etc., for 191 straight weeks, I have been working out either with cardio, a combination of cardio, weight training, and stretching, but only once a week. I have not committed to more than once a week. It's consistent. It's what I'm willing to do. And I'm not willing to do more, but I'm doing that consistently and happy with that. That's part one. Part two is Tov asher lo tidor. It's better not to vow, misha tidor velo teshalem, than to vow and not pay up. It's better just don't get involved in commitments if you're not going to do it, because that creates the cheapening of your word. That creates the 1,500 appointments that you've made with yourself to go for lunch, so to speak, and you never follow through. When you want to make a commitment to yourself, to others, to Hashem, bli neder, again, we say without formal vowing, do only commit to things that you are for sure going to do and watch that power grow. Watch that trust build up. It's like your friend will eventually say, hey, I agree with you, but let me just have a 15-minute meeting with you. Let's have a 15-minute phone call tonight. And let's say they actually showed up and they called you for that 15 minutes and they do that over and over again. Slowly, the trust builds back up. This is what we're trying to do. And lastly, the Ibn Ezra in his commentary on the pasuk that we said from the beginning, that you should guard your words and do them. Achar sheyatzah hadibur, what comes out of your mouth, lo tuchal lahashivo. Look at it like I can't go back. And of course, there's exceptions, and we're not getting to this rigidity of words, etc. There are exceptions, but the bottom line is, don't look at it like you could go back. It's a real transaction. You bought the ticket, and there's a no refund policy. I'm just going to have this follow through, this positive feedback where I say I'm going to do something and I do it. I say I'm not going to do something and I don't do it. Builds trust, builds capital, builds self-trust, self-love, trust with others, trust with Hashem. From an acceptance commitment therapy standpoint, we say you can follow through with what you committed to, and then after figure out how to make it easier, how to make it better, how to make it deeper, what came up, what bothered me here. Commitment first through your words. Choose one little thing that you're going to commit to, something even small, but do it consistently and regularly. And refrain from doing one thing that hasn't been serving you consistently and regularly. Start to build trust in your word again. Word is power. So I hope this was helpful. This is just the beginning of commitment work. Please like, share, and subscribe.